guys, we have here the General's Handbook, release coming up for Age of Sigmar. It's pretty good. I've been pretty excited to be fair. So, we have new ways of playing the game. So, you very much have open play from before, which is pretty much the same as Age of Sigmar normally is. So, you put down like your war scrolls and everything like that, what you're used to. Has rules for how to play multiplayer games, has some scenarios, some battle plans, some generic ones. So if you don't want to play specific ones from events, you can just play this instead. From the older Vanilla Gate Wars and stuff like that. You have narrative, which is almost like an historical style version of Age of Sigmar. So let's go to one now, to be fair. Show an example, if I can find it. Yeah, so like the Death of Nagash. So this is back from before Sigmar's return. This is when Archaon killed him the first time. Archaon is hordes. So there you go. This is exactly who was there. If you want to play the game, so you got player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4. 4 players for Death, 5 players for Chaos. Can't believe I spaced on Chaos. One playing Nagash, a few playing other lords and like zombies, vampires and stuff, and then one player playing as Archaon and his horde, and then one horde for each Chaos god. And it explains like how to play these, and you got like the clearing of the way. Some of the old battles. So a few armies, a few games. So that's narrative play, which basically explains what it is. It has like rules for campaigns. Has tables for different factions if you're going to play those campaigns, has more battle plans, has some explaining how you can do like map campaigns and stuff like that. And then you have match play, which is on about points system for the game. Introduced like ladder campaigns, how to play tournaments, how to just play generic battles where it's just like the 40k version where it's like you roll and this is your mission. Like Taking Hold, Blood and Glory got here. Has profiles for the different armies, so the points and everything. Has even legacy units such as the Hellcan for Chaos. Some of the ones from the old Archaon, stuff like that. And it has new abilities for taking alliances, so if you just take Order, Chaos, Destruction or Death, and you get that there, including magic items. And obviously it's got the rules, just like the other Age of Sigmar productions, which is good. So let's have a look through. So open play games is very much the idea of basically take what you like, standard game, basically just play everything as you want it. There you go. Nice and simple. Like if you want to play the way you were playing before, you can do. Like, there's no, obviously talk to your opponent, talk to your people you're willing to play against about stuff like this. That's the best way to do it. Just make sure your gaming group has like what you want to play. Have a discussion with your the people you'll play. Goes into how to play multiplayer games. It's like explaining rules for just playing basically like 2-on-2 or that sort of stuff. Has Triumph and Treachery from those people that remember that from like 8th edition. So it has rules for using that. Like so if you've got what odd number of players or you want to play a game where everyone's against each other, you have that here and it explains how to do all that. Has some missions for each of those. Like Triumph and Treachery, some more Triumph and Treachery missions. And you get narrative play, which is, as I said earlier, it's on about forging a narrative. It's on about having specific ideas behind what you want to do, like recreate certain special battles, or like example is if you want to do a Band of Fire, says something to bring down a lone terrorgeist, stuff like that. It says here, like that idea, like it's more about the story than it is about the actual game. Like as in, the game obviously is a big thing, but like if you want to do, I don't know, Archaon stick a group of elven lords or heroes of each chaos champion fighting each other, that sort of stuff. This is what it's like leads you towards. Like their armies obviously. And, like this is the idea of this. Has a few small like missions you could do to like add to that, which is quite cool. Adds more story to the actual mission. Like the other battle plans from the books. Themed armies, recreating battles of the past. So it goes into all like Stormcasts versus the Khorne legions, or the Hellfire Legion. And so it explains like how to play that. pretty cool. Setups and everything. Obviously the Death and Gash we already talked about. Some cool artwork. Really good. And it obviously goes into like some campaigns and how to play those and like tables to do that. Which is quite cool. So you can roll to see using the following tables to determine the champion that leads your warband and to follow up the units which are a bit higher at their side. Which is quite cool. So you don't necessarily choose which warband, roll up, see what you get, depending on what you want to play. Which is pretty cool. So I guess that's like a chaos campaign. Looks pretty cool. I wonder if there's more. So chaos, like rewards for your characters, which is quite cool. Stormcast, yeah, same again. Roll in, see what you get, which is quite cool. Fire Slayers, oh yeah, it is. It's pretty cool. The little campaign mission. Rolling up war bands, like earning them stuff, earning them gifts. Yeah, the new Sylvaneth. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. The new tree elementals, the Groot army. Death, and obviously comes with some battle plans to play with that, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so that's just all like how to do different campaigns, how to get those sorted. Cool. The Matrix campaign seems good. I've not really looked into this one to be fair. Yeah, looks alright. So yeah, basically some of these are just explaining campaign stuff. Then match play, which is reminiscent of like old fantasy in that sense of choosing a amount of points, playing it. This is for if you want to play tournaments, or if you just want to like a casual game. Like if you want to, I know like for example myself and my friend who also plays Sigmar, or one of them, we kind of struggled a bit with how to determine a balance like force against each other. Obviously we used like wounds. We tried that. He plays ogres, so it was a bit awkward against my chaos. And then like we tried just the battalion, but that kind of didn't work that much. So for us, it wasn't really like, it was just hard to decide how to play that. But so obviously stuff like this is pretty good. So it goes into ladder campaigns and how to play those, tournament games, explaining like tournament work and stuff. Pitch battles. So here's what I know a lot of people have been asking for, or at least wanted to know, is how to pick an army, the special rules that allow you to. These are a big one. So you can rule the 3 rules of 1. So you can only attempt to cast a spell once. So regardless of how many wizards you have that have arcane bolt, you can only try it once. Any rolls of 1 to hit, to wound, or save always fail. And then obviously you get a re-roll, but if you roll it again a 1, then you definitely miss. And any extra attack rolls that generate to hit rolls or to win rolls gained by the ability cannot themselves generate extra ones. So you can't like choose to hit and I get more hits and constantly going over and over again, which some game systems still allow. Obviously they decided not to allow it in this one. You then have a chart a bit like the old fantasy explaining I stopped doing that to be fair. Say comparing it to the old one, it is its own game, and people like I've obviously myself have this. It's its own game. Treat it as its own game. Enjoy it as its own game. Stop worrying about what it was. It might use the same models, but that's not the point. It is the Age of Sigmar, regardless of what else has happened. So this is the best thing to remember it as. You know what I mean? Like this is the Age of Sigmar. So in this Age of Sigmar, which is, you get depending on what type of game you want to play, either Vanguard, Battle Host, or War Host. So you have 1,000 points, 2,000 points, 2,500 points. I'm sure you could add more, just going up, escalating up as you go. You are allowed an X number of leaders, battle line units, artillery, behemoths, or other units. So in this case, if we're playing a Vanguard game, and we decided to play 1,000 points. I can have 1 to 4 leaders, which you must have 1 to be your general, because it's a 1 to 4. 2 plus battle line units, and battle line units are determined by, it'll list it in the profile. Some units that aren't normally battle line units can be battle line units in certain situations, which it mentions. 0 to 2 artillery, and 0 to 2 behemoths. Behemoths are your giants, your Dragar, your big stuff like that, your Ragnarok spiders. And any other unit, which isn't determined as any of those other units, you can have any number of. Which is kind of cool. So let's have a look in. So obviously, this is a big one. Reinforcement points, which, so if you're a demon player or to summon more units, you must put aside amount of points from your list as reinforcement points. So in the case of playing 1,000 points, I decided I want to summon some demons with Archaon, or probably won't be Archaon, but like a sorcerer. I decided I'm going to put 250 points on my army as reinforcement points. So that means when they are summoned, I deduct their amount from my reinforcement pool. So, for example, let's take a look how much like a herald costs. Yeah, my Chaos Sorcerer is going to summon Herald of Sinesh. Herald of Sinesh is 60 points. So if I wanted to summon a Herald of Sinesh, I would deduct 60 points from my reinforcement pool for the rest of the game. So if I had, so I've got 250, I spend 60 points on the demon, the Herald of Sinesh. I now have 190 to spend for the rest of the game on whatever else I summon. And then as soon as you're out or you don't have enough points to pay for that amount of models, you can't summon them. Which is pretty cool. It means that you don't get the overabundance of models. It means you still get a choice. You don't have to say I've got this in reserve or I've got a Bloodthirster waiting if I spend my points on my Bloodthirster. Instead, you can determine what you need for the time, which is pretty cool. I quite like that. There's some extra rules added in, like War Scrolls and everything. It talks about War Scrolls. Monsters and cover. The modifier for being in cover does not apply to monsters. This is quite a big one. Triumphs. Instead of rolling on the triumph table from a major victory, player compare the number of points that they were left over after picking their armies. Those not spent on their army or reinforcement points. It may roll on the following triumph table. Which is pretty cool. Hit rolls made for one unit in your army in one combat phase. Bloodthirsty, you can reroll all the failed wounds for one unit in your army in one combat phase. Indomitable, you can reroll all failed saves made for one unit in your army in one combat phase. That's kind of cool. So it means if you're a bit under, you can it kind of helps a little bit. So then we have battle plans, D6 to see which battle plan you're going to be playing. So here we go. So here's some battle plans. You've got Take and Hold, which is very much a simple objective in your 9 inches from your edge. You're going to take your enemies, hold your own. Blood and Glory, which has objectives across the board. Escalation, Border War, the free places of power, which is actually quite a cool one, which is about heroes controlling areas and then gaining points as long as those heroes control those areas. And if your hero slays an enemy hero holding that place, they immediately take control of it, which I quite like. So it seems very like chaosy to me, but it's quite cool. Gift from the Heavens, which is quite cool, which I have a battle report of in here. Speaking of which, here's a battle report. So there you go, see the army list. You've got a Stormcast 2,000 point army and a Chaos Demon 2,000 point army, and they've got 320 points of reserves or reinforcement points. And it goes through a battle report, and then explains what's going on and everything, so you can see the battle playing out. And there you go. So there you go. And then we go on to just a few more bits before it gets into the pitched battle profiles. These are the points. So you can, when you decide upon your game, you'd say obviously 1,000, 2,000, or 2,500, or whatever you want, really. To be fair, and that's what you're going to play, basically. Well, not. I mean, you and your opponent decide that's what you want to play. There is an option to play points only, where you ignore all the battlefield rolls. You just play how many points you have, which is kind of cool. But here's how the point system works. So we're going to make a Brayherd's army. So here you have a battlefield rolls. You have battle line, leader, and nothing else really for a behemoth. But you have like the giant here as a behemoth. So you need at least one unit of leader. So I'll take a Beast Lord as my leader. So that's 80 points gone. So each unit size has a min and a max. So one Beast Lord has a min of 1 and a max of 1. So you can only take one to fill that unit. So he's my leader for 80 points. I then want a unit of Gauls, which costs 80 points for 10, which is the min. You pay the min, that's how many you get for 80 points. I want to upgrade that unit to have 30 models in it, which is the max. So I pay 3 times the min to get to the max. So the min is 10. For 10 is 80 points. So I pay 240 points to have a unit of 30 Gauls. With whatever upgrades they have, that's how many points I pay. If I had 27 Gauls, I would still have to pay the full amount for 30 because it goes up in instrumentals. So it's 1 to 10. 10 being the min, so you have to have at least 10 models, is 80 points. Then it's 11 to 20 is another 80 points. And then 21 to 30 is an additional 80 points. So regardless of how many models you actually have, you pay that many points, that's what you get. So you could have 7 gores, but you'll still pay 80 points to get them in. You go up to 10. So that happens across the whole lot. So you've got leaders and you've got battle lines. I'll show you an example of a... So here we go. So Clan Molder says if your allegiance is Clan Molder, the giant rats become a battle line unit. And so your allegiance is sticking to those clans or those... clans in this case for Skaven. But those specific ones like the Bloodbound for Khorne and stuff like that. So you got more clans. Demons of Khorne. So everything's got its units. So you got like Scarbrand is 400 points. He's a leader and a behemoth, which means he takes up 1 space for his leader and 1 space for behemoth because he's such a big horrible monster, the Bloodthirster. And he has another rule which says only 1 of this model can be included in a pitched battle army. So if they're a unique character, you only ever go to see 1 generally. There's very few ways you'll ever see them unless you're playing open play. Then you can have multiples, but if you're playing this, there's only 1 in a pitched battle. So like Epidemus has the same thing. Any named character. He has a lot of points. He's 400, is quite a decent chunk. And obviously each thing is separate into its own category. So Blood Crushers are a battle line unit if you have Khorne Demon Allegiance and your general is the Schoolmaster Herald of Khorne, which I believe is basically the one riding a Juggernaut. And Flesh Hound's the same if your general is Karanak, which is quite cool. And then Archaon, for example, is 700 points, and he's a leader and a behemoth, and he can only be included once. And then Archaon, if you're taking Everchosen as your allegiance, you can have Varangard as your battle line, which are 360 points for free. So they're fairly expensive, but they're very good. So yeah, it's worth it. And yep, and you got goes into all the others. You got all the Chaos Forces here, and it's very much the same sort of idea across the line. One thing I do like is that if you take Khorne Bloodbound as your allegiance, and it's a Khorne mortal army, and you take a Lord Juggernaut on Lord of Khorne and Juggernaut, you get Mighty Skull Crushers as battle line. So Skull Crushers as battle line would be quite a cool army. So it goes across all Chaos here. Then we get into Death. It goes for Death. Nagash is 900 points, which is pretty crazy. Manfred is like 460. So you go into it goes through. So your first sheet of courts are in here, which is quite cool. And it goes into Destruction. So you got your Uruks, you got your special units. It's quite cool. Goes through all of them. Man-Eaters, Ironjaws, more Clan Grots. Also you got your Ogres, as they used to be called back in there. Are they just called Ogres now as well? Yeah. By those things. Then it goes to Order. So you have all the Order units, your A-Elves, your Dispossessed and everything else like that. Which is quite cool. Especially I play Elves. Elves. So I have some of those as well, which I'm quite happy with. Stormcasts. It's even got the new Silnif, can't even pronounce it, the Tree People, the Groots, and then the Wanderers. They're in here as well, like Aurelia, the Ever Queen, 620 points. So she's quite a lot, but yeah, she's good. Their battle line unit are the Tree Revenants. If you take them as your core, they also have. That seems to be the only battle line units. Oh no, they have Dryads, so they're a battle line unit, which is quite cool. Dryads are cool models. Then these are the legacy units as they've been named by the tournament. South Coast Slaughter, I think it was called, something like that. So you have like Beastmen, Bretonnians, Demons or Demons of Chaos, or their cohorts anyway. Dark Elves, so specific models and units that you have from the fantasy days that don't have their own war scroll other than in the app, so or online. I think they sell them online. So you have like Joseph Bugman, You have like High King, Thorgrim, Grudge Bearer, Malekith the Witch King. You know what I mean, stuff like this is pretty cool. High Elf units like Teclis and Tyrion, Prince Imric Dragonlord. So you've got characters, but you've also got stuff like a Lothian Seahelm or Aurelian Reavers. So if you want to play those still, or the Bolt Thrower. Ogre Kingdoms, Lizardmen, Orcs and Goblins, Skaven, the Empire, Tomb Kings, Vampire Counts, Warriors of Chaos, so Hellcans. I've got 2 of those bad boys. I'm going to be bringing those out more. They're only 300 points, so you know, cheap as chips. So yeah, so you guys all through it. Got some Wood Elves, you got the classic stuff. Like I think you have Orion in here. Yeah, Orion, King of the Woods. And then you got like, an army roster for writing everything down, and then you've got the Grand Alliances. So Grand Alliances basically say when making an army using these points, you must stick to a alliance. So Order, Chaos. I'm sure you can arrange that with your friend about stuff as well. So alliances. So each one, obviously, it tells you each one is determined whether it's Order or Chaos or whatever. When your army qualifies for more than one alliance, Order and Stormcast, you can choose which alliance your army will use before each game. So that's kind of cool. So I'm assuming there'll be more stuff coming out about how alliances affect stuff. And that'll probably be more to do with the battle line in the moment, but there might be more in the future. You gain battle traits depending on what alliance you are. You gain a command trait, you gain artifacts of power. But if you're a named character, you can't use those. So you can't use the artifacts or the command traits because you already got good stuff anyway. Like Arcane doesn't need another magical weapon, or he's already got the Slayer of Kings, and you know, like Nagash doesn't need more. You know, like these people have already got their stuff. So here we go. So alliance abilities: you gain a battle line, a battle trait which your army follows. You gain a command trait which is rolling here, basically a bit like the Warlord traits from Warhammer 40k. You roll a d6. I think you can also pick one if you like to just give to your general. So if your general is not a named character, they can just choose one of these or roll a d6 if you can't decide. Same for the artifacts of power. One hero in your army, maybe giving one of these weapons. So you've got like the Quicksilver potion. You can use the potion at the start of the battle, start of a combat phase, multiple battle, start of a combat phase. The model attacks in close combat phase for any other models, and before the player whose turn is taking place picks a unit to attack with. It's quite cool. It's like Obstinate Blade, Relic Blade, Hoarfrost, Talisman of Binding Light, Phoenix Stone. It's quite cool. And then for every battle host you have, War Scroll, you can then have an extra item. For each War Scroll battalion you include in your army, an additional hero can have it. It's kind of cool. And also you get one of those. There's one for Order, one for Chaos, one for the Chaos artifacts are quite cool. One for Death, Destruction, sorry. One for Death, and then get into the rules. And then that's basically the traditional rules from before. And that is the General Handbook, which has me very excited to play some more Age of Sigmar with my Chaos and my High Elves or A-Elves. You know, get them out, get them fighting. I know a lot of people in the community have asked for stuff like this just to. A lot of times it's not necessarily for tournament play, but it's just to make it easier for pickup games. I know a lot of people use the other system, which is whatever floats your boat, whatever makes the game enjoyable for you. And it's not a bad system. It's just finding that right balance that you want to play. Sometimes you want to play the games where it's completely unbalanced to play a narrative one, which is obviously included rules for it here. I think this is a very good book, a very good tool in the Age of Sigmar, regardless of if you're going to play with the points or not, or anything else like that. It's got some good battle plans in here. Yeah, I recommend picking one up if you're a general fighting in the Age of Sigmar. Yeah. Right, cheers for listening, people, and see you next time.